Hey there, I hope you're well. This video is about the 7 cuts that every editor should know. The first one is a clean cut. Now this is the most basic and the most used cut in the video editing, film and TV industry. This is just where you get 2 clips, cut them and put them together. Simple. Next cut is called the J cut. The J cut is the cut you probably see in most TV or films that you watch, and you probably don't notice it because it's the most natural. It actually brings the sound of the next scene into the current or previous scene, and it really helps transport the viewer from one scene into the next very naturally. And probably the only reason you would notice this cut is if it's not there. I mean, imagine if you've got an actor in a busy office and then they're going out to a street scene. What will usually happen is you'll hear the traffic noise whilst they're still sitting in the office, and it'll transition to the outdoor shot. If you don't have that, the sound would literally just cut suddenly, and it would really take your eye off the ball and kind of ruin the scene that you're watching. So watch out for the J cut. So the next shot is the L cut, and this is very, very similar to the J cut, and you will have also seen this a lot in TV or film programs. An example of this is, let's say you've got the character in the London Underground and you see a shot of the Underground train coming along, and then the next scene is of them in a coffee shop. What will happen is it will cut to the scene of them in the coffee shop, and you will still hear in the background that Underground train moving or going past. So next is the jump cut, and the jump cut is usually an abrupt jump from one part of the scene to the next. So an example would be maybe someone walking down some stairs, and then the jump cut happens and then the actor is at the bottom of the stairs. That is what we call a jump cut, and it gives the illusion of something happening over a period of time. Now you also may hear of the jump cut being used in a lot of YouTube videos, and I often see this used possibly in the wrong way. You'll see a YouTuber talking at the camera for 20 minutes and it just jump cuts between all of their mistakes. I often think people should use a lot more B-roll and things to cover over the mistakes, but you'll also see that sometimes as a jump cut too. Next is the action cut, and this is used to show action in a scene. So for example, you could have an actor reaching out for a cup of coffee, and then it cuts to a very close-up of the coffee cup being picked up, and that is the bit of action. It's often used in a fight scene. You'll have a wide shot of someone pulling back their arm to punch, and then the next shot will be a close-up of the person being punched in the face, and it just takes the audience very quickly from one part of the scene to the next and just moves the action at a very fast pace. The next cut is called a cutaway, and you'll have seen this all the way through this video. This is basically when we talk to camera and then the edit cuts to something that we may be talking about. So for example, in a news piece, someone may be talking about the economic position of shops, and then it cuts to a shop front, to cover over maybe a mistake the editor has made or to show a point in that story. Cutaways can be used a lot of times in interviews. So let's say you've got 2 people sitting down doing an interview and then they make some mistakes halfway through the interview. You can cut away to their pet dog or something else in the scene, use that to cut over the mistakes, cut back to the story, and it looks like one seamless interview. The next technique is called the motion cut, and this is when you get 2 shots roughly going in the same speed, in the same motion, in the same direction, and it really helps create a nice flow. An example of this is, let's say for example, you could have an actor jumping off a diving board, you see them going down into the water, and then it cuts to a penny going into a wishing well, and it may take the viewer into a different part of the story. Another example where we use this quite a lot is in transitions. So I've told you about when Andy does this sometimes for a transition. We'll get the camera, we'll have it on a subject, we'll swoop it down, and then we'll come into the next shot also swooping down with the same kind of motion, and it just brings the viewer into the next scene really cleverly, and the 2 shots match in roughly the same speed, same color, same direction, and it looks super smooth, just like this. So that is 7 cuts that every editor should know. I hope that helps you out in your next video, and if you do use any of those cuts, make a comment in the section below and let us know how you're using them and if you're using them for the first time. And if you've got any questions about how to use any of those cuts or any other editing techniques, let me know, because we get back to every single question. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and make sure you hit that subscribe and that notification bell to be notified of more videos just like this.